Hey guys, welcome to this video on how to release control from life. I used to be always optimizing my life for productivity, to achieve the best outcomes, to achieving my goals, to being the absolute best person that I could be on a daily basis to make sure I identity shift in the most effective, fastest way possible. I was mainly watching videos on productivity on YouTube, which is mainly by men. And it wasn't until I realized that literally we're entirely different species to men that I realized that we should be actually doing it a whole lot differently. And the best way for us to do this is to actually get in tune with our unique innate nature and our natural energy levels. I was always making sure my income was going up and up and up. And I was always thinking, I was always in my head. I was always just thinking about the next thing, how I'm going to do my day, the best way to do my day. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? What am I going to do next? And literally this left zero room for free flowing, for play, for changes in my life, for relaxation, room to actually feel. I would always avoid my emotions, and I would always go straight into the bad side of pleasure when I was dysregulated and stressed after a hard day. Drink some sugary drinks or get a takeaway. And I never allowed room for the universe to actually bring my manifestation to me in the most effective way possible, because I was trying to control how the manifestation was going to come and how fast it was going to come and the actual thing that I want and nothing else. And I was also just always disempowering the people around me when it came to decision making, because I was trying to take control over joint decisions all the time. If this sounds like you, then this video is definitely going to help. The first thing that I actually started to do that worked the best is to actually start releasing control of outcomes. Now, this could be, for example, planning how the manifestation's gonna happen, or when the manifestation's gonna happen, or just goals in general, things that you desire. Trying to release control and just focusing on the feeling that you actually want was the thing that I started to do. This could also be, for example, always trying to take control when something is outside of your normal routine, like a day trip or a holiday, for example. When you go on holiday and you're always planning where to go, I don't want to be bored, this, that and the other, rather than just actually going on holiday. The best day trips and holidays for me have been the ones where I just go there, exist, and you just know that you're driving down the road and you're like, oh wow, I really want to go there. Oh, that beach looks really good. And then if you're trying to control the outcome, you're like, oh, we'll see if we've got time for that. Or, oh, we've got to plan the other beach instead. But you've seen that on Google and there's going to be 10,000 people there. Whereas this cozy little cute beach is undiscovered and you would actually have more fun here. And I find that the best things actually happen in the times where I have not had control, physically not had control. And they always happen so much better, so much nicer, so much more flowing and relaxating. This might also be how the little things go. If you're in the car and you're trying to control your route, or someone's saying, oh, just go this other way, or you are just so fixated on getting to the point of your destination at a certain time that some small little inconvenience happens and you're like, oh my god, I've lost control. Or maybe you're trying to control how your morning goes. For me, I was always planning my morning for productivity. I could not do a singular thing unproductive. It was pretty hard not to go on my phone because some things genuinely required me to go on my phone. This structure in my life was just way too rigid, and there needed to be room for flow. Or when something's planned and then someone comes up to you and says, oh, I think it could go better if you do it like this, and you're like, no, stick to the plan, there's no room, I don't want to even contemplate your decision, I think it's going to go best like this, which again is just an opinion. Who's right in this situation and this world full of consciousness and opinions? And so instead, just allowing things to not go your way, this is a really good way of dealing with this, is just allowing small things to not actually go your way. If someone actually says to you, how about we do it like this? And you're like, this is actually, like, I don't actually think this is the best way of doing it. But I'm actually going to just allow this other person to do it, and we'll just see how it goes. And I'm going to practice on staying in my body, releasing control, enjoying the life where I am no longer responsible all the time, and just enjoy a little bit of passive princessness for once in your life. And if it really is starting to stress you out, just focus on the nervous system regulation, you know, deep breaths, or the 5 4 3 2 1 method, or just practicing staying in your body, just practicing like de-stressing and getting back into the rest and digest mode if you're really starting to experience the anxiety and stress of not being in control. I did this the other day when I went away with my family to London. Normally I am pretty much like in control, even if, for instance, it's Aaron that's taking us around everywhere. It's usually like I have a say in it kind of thing. And like when I went away with my family, obviously they had all these things planned, and we was trying to get to the hotel actually, and it was me and my uncle. We was trying to direct us to the hotel, and he was just like not he was just like not understanding Google Maps, and they ended up asking someone on how to get there, and yes, she was correct, but it wasn't the fastest way. And essentially I was like, listen, I'm gonna just bring up Google Maps and I'm going to tell them how to get there, but I'm not going to force anything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get them there, right? I'm going to allow myself this one time to like butt in and be like, hey guys, just so you know, like this is how you do it. Because I'm never normally like that with directions. I'm actually pretty bad. So I needed to get good at directions, especially in the London Underground. So I was like, this is going to be a good experience for me as well, to be responsible and learn things. So I was like, I'm going to allow myself this opportunity to direct everyone to the hotel, because clearly everyone's struggling and I know my uncle probably wants to be in control. Respectfully, this is going to be the best way to do it. And then I promised myself that the rest of the trip I was going to sit back, allow everyone to do it for me, and essentially just be like, it doesn't matter when we get anywhere because I'm just here to relax for a couple of days. But this first day, it was very important that we got to the hotel at a certain time. So I genuinely was like, right, I'm going to allow myself permission to actually take control here. And I did, and I got us there faster than my uncle would have and the stranger would have, right? Because so that happened, and then the rest of the holiday I released control. I was like, you know what, you guys, like, I didn't even have to do anything, to be honest with you. They wanted. There is a balance here between allowing yourself to do it when it's needed and you can actually see that something's happening. Like in this situation, I was like, I will allow it, but then the rest of the time I'm not going to do it. No matter how tired I am, I want to get back to the hotel and we're not getting there fast enough. That was amazing. I actually loved being not in control for once during that time. So those are some ways that you can release control of an outcome. And then the second way of actually releasing control of life is releasing control of how fast the outcome is having. So this is like the second half of the first point here. So this might be, for example, feeling guilty when you do something that your next level self wouldn't. And instantly shaming yourself and being like, oh my God, I'm failing at my inner work. Like, this was me all the time. Trying to control, like, oh my God, I'm going to do it this way. Like, am I doing it right? And you're trying to do inner work to propel your life forwards and your mentality forwards and everything. But at the end of the day, if you fall into the logic thinking, the kind of controlling energy, the too much structure, that is going to go against inner work. Like, you're gonna experience stress, and that's gonna be the opposite of doing the inner work in the first place. So sometimes it's about actually doing inner work but relaxing. So for example, just taking time to actually do nothing for a while, relax and play. Like, literally I started playing video games again and not actually shaming myself for not just sat there reading a book or listening to YouTube, because I've balanced my day between the structure and the play now. So I have the very most important things, like the 5 most important things that I must do in my day, for example, that just need doing. And so I use my discipline to get those things done. And then the second those things are done, instead of spending my whole evening listening to YouTube or reading a book or doing all the productive things, like, I don't know, just learning or like doing like more YouTube, I'm like, okay, I've done those things for the day. If I haven't actually done all the 5 things, I'm going to do the last thing tomorrow. But now I'm actually going to do nothing and have zero, like literally zero expectations for myself. If I want to binge watch movies all night long, go ahead. If I want to read my fantasy book, go ahead. If I want to start a new TV show, just binge watching reality TV, I'm gonna do that. And that is my playtime for me. That is where I can just start, like, I've been learning new recipes and stuff like that. Just really playful things. Like, I've just been sat on my iPad playing video games, for example. And then you will be like, oh my God, this is so relaxing, this is so freeing. And then you're actually enjoying the life that you're building as well, instead of just go, go, go. Outcome, 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 thinking, trying. There needs to be a cut-off point where you're like, okay, I've done the things that I'm going to do. Now I can fully relax and play for the day. So to counteract the feeling of feeling guilty and constantly thinking, is this how my next level self would work? I stopped trying to change in those moments and stopped putting the pressure on myself to choose differently in the moment, and actually just became observant. So when you become observant in the moment, I've spoke about this in the last couple of videos actually, it's a better way to go about identity shifting, because a lot of the times, how can you change when you don't even know what causes it? How can you change when you haven't had the experience of seeing yourself in that situation to even know what to change? And so therefore, with identity shifting, the number one thing I realised to do is actually to just start observing yourself and writing down when you catch yourself doing the undesirable things. When you catch a new shadow, for example, like write it in a shadow journey. When you catch yourself wavering in your manifestation, just write down that limiting belief that you have caught. It's all about catching yourself and catching these little identity things that we want to change, and actually just writing them down and observing ourselves, our body, our mind in that state. And you can do this for as long as you need to do it. But even if weeks go by, you only need to do it until you can see yourself in that moment and you see it happening. So observe yourself until you literally know it's happening. That's how you know you've correctly observed the pattern enough times, because now you're catching it in the moment and going, oh my God, look, I'm literally playing out that shadow right now. Oh my God, literally, I'm becoming triggered. And in that time, you will naturally choose differently because you have caught yourself. You don't even need to try at that rate. You have literally observed yourself so many times that in that moment, you can actually choose consciously without letting your unconscious run the show. So that's what I started to do. And then another example of how to release control of how fast an outcome is happening alongside how fast I'm doing my inner work and getting my identity shifting fast is, for example, like when you're always structuring your day for productivity and for optimal results. So if you find yourself doing this, like me, you're constantly living in the future rather than the now. And this actually caused a lot of anxiety for me without realising it. And actually one day someone close to me was like, you're low-key like anxious. And I was like, anxiety? No way. I am not an anxious person. Like, are you kidding me? Anxiousness and anxiety have never been part of my life. But that's how I know, because I was a little bit like triggered almost, like what the hell, absolutely not. That's how you know your shadow is at play, because it's like, absolutely, that's not me, rather than being curious. When you're not curious to how you are being that way, that's how you know your shadow is playing out the shadow, because it's trying to protect you, right? So when I was like, absolutely not, anxiety, no way, it was at the forefront of my mind, because after then I was like, oh my God, like, why did I completely reject the word anxiety? And I could see actually where the places in my life I was trying to control the outcome of and trying to make things fast, that actually that's causing a low grade of anxiety in my body that I didn't realise was happening. And that's probably causing, you know, high stress levels, my HRV that's always been really low, and it always says I'm overloaded and stuff like that. That's what it's always been like before then. And so that's how I was always, it's because I was always living in the future. I was never living in the moment. and I was always trying to change and think in the future. I never have a problem with thinking in the past. I literally couldn't care less about what's happened in the past, last week, last month, right? But I'm like always thinking of the future, like what's going to happen, what to do, how to achieve the optimal results in productivity, which I do blame on watching way too many productivity videos that's very masculine, structured, and like get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym, which doesn't work for females, by the way. It's like, honestly, especially when our cycle literally means that we have different energy levels every single week. We cannot just stick to one routine, one structured thing. Like, we can have a routine, but it needs to be a bit bendy and a bit flimsy depending on the time of the month, our energy levels, our happiness levels. That's how we would work the fastest and bestest and most effective, actually. Maybe even more effective than the routines, because then you're working in tune with nature rather than against nature and in your mind. So that's what I started to do. I started to live in the now. Stopped thinking all the time, because literally people would look at me and they're like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, how do you know I'm thinking? And they're like, I can literally see your thinking face. Like, what are you thinking about? And so again, it took people like Aaron to reveal that to me before I actually realised what I was doing. So a great thing to do is just tell people that you're trying to do this kind of work and the things you're trying to work on, and then that's an invitation for people to be like, hey, just so you know, did you know you do this? And then you can be like, oh my god, I didn't know I did that. Like, do I want to change it? Do I not want to change it? Was I aware of it? So you can have your essential things. This is what I did. So not particularly 5, but you have your essential things to do for the day. This is often called your needle moving activities that you need to do for that day. And some of those activities could just be like doing stuff for your business, like emails, but then other things can be things like doing the laundry for that day. Like, you need to do the laundry, because else you're going to sit down at the end of the day and be like, oh my god, I still need to do the laundry. That could be one of the things that's like an absolute essential. For me, it would be things like meditating in the morning, and then just making food for myself. I always take time to make food for myself. It's a good way to just live in the present moment, which I'll go into in a second. But doing those essential things and then allowing the day to flow. If you don't feel like doing that one thing now, you can do it later on. A lot of the times, if you force yourself to do something, your mental resistance against it is just going to increase than just allowing yourself to do it when you feel like it. And if it never comes, then yes, finally, you can use your discipline and be like, right, what the heck is going on here? What am I trying to avoid by not wanting to do this task? And so sometimes, yes, that is required. But most of the time, just let it flow, you know, and have those definite activities you need to do. And then again, you can allow yourself to relax at the end of the day once you've done those activities. Another thing might be always planning the future in your life. So this kind of goes with productivity, but planning your future and how fast it's going to arrive. Where will I be next year? What business will I have? What income will I have? And that was literally me all the time. Like, every single little thing I would be planning. I remember when I was 18 and I was like, I'm going to go to uni for 3 years, then I'm going to get married at 22, then I'm going to have kids at 24, then by 26 I'm going to have this massive house. And like, none of it happened. Like, literally none of it happened. That was like the ideal world. But even then, I say ideal world, and I don't think any of those things would have brought me happiness. It was just me weirdly planning things. And don't get me wrong, planning is very healthy, but when you take it too much to the too structured end, then it's going to go against your human nature and your energy and put you in the future all the time and not in the present moment. How I combated this would be to have feeling goals. For example, I want to be fully calm. I want to feel fully calm and grounded and untriggered in 1 year. So I'm gonna, instead of setting a really harsh inner work goal of like income, the house size, the whatever, you can set a feeling goal of, okay, whatever I do, I want to feel calm, I want to be grounded, I want to be untriggered, I want to kind of feel a lot less pressure about other people's opinions, maybe. And that gives you something to work towards on a feeling basis. And the reason I say this purely is because You don't want things, you want feelings. You don't want a car, you want the feeling of driving the car and feeling superior. You don't want a big house, you want the feeling of wealth and success and achievement and fulfillment. You don't want things, you want feelings. So just aim for the feelings and you'll get there a lot more effectively with less effort, less time, less energy. You may as well just go for the thing, right? So I want to feel fully calm, grounded, whatever, in 1 year's time or 6 months' time. And then that gives you a good self-development goal rather than just money, or like level 1, level 2, like for instance, YouTube subscribers, YouTube. I want to feel really calm and grounded on YouTube. I want to not care what people think. I want to do the thumbnails how I want to do them. I want to really enjoy them instead of being like, I want this many views, I want this many subscribers, right? It goes for all the platforms. That's the feeling you want by achieving subscribers, is you want the feeling of like popularity, virality, fulfillment. So you may as well just aim for those feelings in the first place and then you will get the feeling. Or, for example, I want to feel fully free and flowing in 3 years' time. I want to feel free. So instead of aiming for complete and utter financial abundance, you've got 10 grand saved up in the S&P 500 and you know, you're going to retire early and follow the FIRE movement, right? Again, we've all been across this self-development. It's very, very, very masculine. And yes, it's great, but at the same time, you want the feeling of freeness. You want the feeling of flow and the abundance to make decisions for yourself on 11 a.m, 5 p.m. You want the time freedom, the location freedom. So how about I want to feel fully free and just flowing? The freedom to make decisions, for example, in 3 years' time or 5 years' time, 10 years' time, however long you believe in your belief system that it's possible for you. And then you can work on that belief system in the meantime as well to make sure that that's fully congruent. And then whatever comes with that life, you have achieved the ultimate goal because you wanted the feeling of freedom. What you think will give you that feeling is usually not what will actually give you that feeling. So you may as well just aim for the feeling and allow the things to come with it. How I feel freedom is completely different now to how I thought freedom would look a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. I used to think that it was like no job, like just fully just lounging around all day. And then I realized, hang on a minute, that is not fulfillment for me. Like I have this burning desire to share this knowledge, to connect with people. That wouldn't be fulfilling at all. And so another way you might be like, I want to have, for example, the self-development goal of being the absolute embodiment of love and radiance in 5 years' time. I want to just feel like pure love because no one gives me love. I give myself love. I am love. If I don't feel love, it's because I'm not loving myself. I'm not spending enough time with myself. If you feel lonely, it's because you're not spending enough time with yourself. And so therefore the aim to fix my life is not going to be all of these tangible, structured things. It's just going to be the feeling goal of feeling the embodiments of love and radiance in 5 years' time. I want to feel radiant in 5 years' time. Again, what you think will make you feel radiant will be different to what actually gives you the feeling of radiance. So you may as well just get the feeling of radiance and aim for that and put that at the forefront of your brain. So when you're deciding what to buy, what to choose, you feel that I want radiance rather than going, oh, would this colour look good on me or would this colour look good on me? See how that's very logical? You choose with your feelings instead because, again, that is the thing you actually want. I want to feel the love and the radiance. What is going to help me embody that ultimate feeling of just pure love and radiance? Like, that is my next level self. My next level self is not the income level. It's not the subscriber level. It's not the how many followers I have on Instagram level. It's not the car that I have. It's the feeling that I want. And so I want to be the ultimate embodiment of love and radiance. I want to feel fully free, fully calm, the ability to travel, the freedom of choice. That is what we want. We want the ability to be grounded and untriggered and not care about other people's opinions. This is true fulfillment. This is true happiness, right? Not all of these things that we think are going to cause it. So releasing control of how fast something is happening and also what the outcome actually is. And this is how to actually do it. So write down all of these things, rewatch the video if you really want to. But I hope this really helped you. And again, I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye, guys.